everyone, and good Wednesday morning. It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm here with a morning update for you today because it could be a pretty bumpy afternoon across the valley with a chance for some rowdy thunderstorms in this very warm and humid air mass. So let's talk about the timing and potential impacts. First of all, as of this recording at 8:15 a.m., not much going on across the area. It's a hazy morning. We have that high altitude wildfire smoke overhead once again, but the radar is quiet here locally. I put a quick loop on this. Already starting to see a little bit of convection firing out across Illinois and Indiana and down towards Cincinnati and Louisville. Nothing severe, but that's the only thing of interest really on the radar across the region, and I expect it to stay mostly quiet for the next handful of hours. Boy, is it soupy outside though. Dew point temperatures, much like the last couple of days, really since Monday. Those dew points are well up into the 60s and even the lower 70s in some places this morning. So a very juicy air mass. It's going to be another warm day today, much like the last couple of days. We'll make a run into the upper 80s before any thunderstorms move in today. So we've got heat, we've got humidity. What about some other ingredients for possible severe weather? Well, we have in the upper levels what we call a shortwave trough, or kind of think of it as an upper level disturbance. And when these little ripples in the flow come along, they can enhance uplift in the atmosphere and lead to thunderstorm activity. And what I want you to keep an eye on is this area right out here. This is where that kind of upper level disturbance is this morning. And as I roll this forward, you'll notice it comes into the lower Great Lakes. And this kind of looks like spilled paint, right? Well, trust me, this is a pretty potent little upper level disturbance that's pushing through, and it's one of the ingredients that we look for when we look for thunderstorm activity and possible severe weather. Now, some things are not exactly in the favor of severe weather today. One of those things, what we call wind shear from the ground all the way up through the atmosphere a few miles. Those numbers are highest off to our north across Michigan, Ontario, into New York State as well. Around here, the models are showing maybe 15, 20, 25 knots of total shear, so there's not a lot of wind speed difference between the ground and up a few miles. There's not a lot of change in wind direction from down here at the ground to upstairs, and so that's one thing that works against organized severe weather today, is the wind shear is not particularly impressive. What about the upper level temperatures, and are they favorable for air parcels to keep rising through the mid-levels of the atmosphere? This is what we call the lapse rate. So in other words, air parcels that get warm enough to start rising down here at the ground, once they get up a couple of miles in the air, are they able to keep rising very efficiently? Or will they run into some somewhat warmer air and therefore not rise as efficiently, and therefore those updrafts don't get as tall in the sky? And this is another thing that's not particularly impressive today. That kind of mid-level lapse rate is pretty middling today. The air parcels down here at the ground will have no trouble initially rising. It's going to be warm and humid and unstable. But once they get upstairs a little bit, they're not exactly going to keep rocketing upwards at a really fast rate today. And that's going to limit the ability of these showers and storms to get overly rowdy today. That being said, I do think we are going to see some showers and storms as we get into the afternoon today. This is our simulated radar on our high-res modeling. Everything's pretty quiet, it looks like, through at least noon, maybe even 1 o'clock. But by 1:30, 2 o'clock, and into 3 o'clock, this is when we'll start to see those loosely organized, kind of randomly placed showers and storms. Again, random is the name of the game today. There's no telling who's going to get one and who's not. The overall movement will be from southwest to northeast of whatever storms do fire. So here's the simulated radar at, say, 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon, showing the scattered nature of things, and everything's kind of moving off to the northeast. And then as we get into the evening, our severe weather threat will wind down pretty quickly. Maybe a couple of showers are going to linger. There could even be a rumble of thunder here and there this evening into the overnight. But I'm really focused on, say, 2 p.m. to maybe 6 or 7 p.m. Kind of that 4 to 5 hour window in which any thunderstorm that does get going could certainly try to get tall enough in the sky to not only produce a torrential downpour. With all the humidity in the air, these will be efficient rain producers. But also there's a low-end possibility of some storms producing strong winds as well. The Storm Prediction Center, in their overnight outlook, did highlight parts of northeast Ohio and northwest PA and what we call the slight risk of severe weather. That's kind of, if you think of our severe weather scale, risk scale is a 1 to 5 scale. This is basically a 2 on that 1 to 5 scale for parts of Northeast Ohio and Northwest PA in the yellow coloring. So it's a day to stay weather aware. We'll have the potential for a few rowdy storms this afternoon. Do the ingredients all look great for a widespread severe weather outbreak today? No, I don't think so. But still, a couple of these storms could try to be pretty ambitious this afternoon and produce some wind and some Florida-like downpours. So stay tuned for more updates on social media. The Storm Tracker 21 app will be a good app to have throughout the day today to track those storms on the radar. And if we if we get particularly busy in the Weather Center this afternoon, we'll launch a live stream on our social media outlets, the Storm Tracker 21 app, and WFMJ.com/weather. In the meantime, thank you for watching this morning video and have a great rest of your Wednesday.